Everybody, please welcome our guest for this evening, Simon Gregor. You might know him as Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy in Elden Ring.
Lord. Yeah, Lord.
Lord, we've got to get that right. Simon, how are you, mate? Great to have you on the show.
It's my pleasure. This is a first. This is my first Zoom call ever.
Oh, wow. How's
Yeah.
that? I'm surprised you got
Uh,
away with that as an actor. No Zoom calls during COVID.
Um, well, yeah. I mean, other things happened. I was doing lots of self tapes and things, so I was kind
Yeah.
of doing with camera and stuff. But I was kind of like Zoom never came up. It never came up. Zoom. This is the first time, and I knew that sooner or later it would happen. And yeah,
Well, here we
I'm
are.
glad.
It didn't take you much, really.
No, well done. You've taught me something, mate. You've it was on the bucket list.
You know what else should be on the bucket list? Have you been to Australia, mate?
No,
Well,
but I've got
that's
a friend who has. I've got a friend that moved. One of my best friends moved there about 10 years ago. And every year or so he says, "You must come." He lives on a beach. He lives in a place called Port Macquarie, which apparently is very beautiful.
that's not far away from me. There you
Really?
go. Yeah. Wow, there you go. You got to come
His
down,
name is,
eh?
yeah, I mean it will happen because I'll come down and see Emil. See, Emil Walker's his name. He's a brilliant director. Brilliant director,
Oh,
come stroke actor.
oh wow.
He doesn't direct a lot of opera and quite large things.
So you
He,
do you know him from opera? You haven't done any of that stuff, have
no,
you? No.
know him from I know him from a film. We did a film together about a death camp in the Second World War called Escape from Sobibor. An
Wow.
extraordinary project. Heartbreaking, obviously, because it was about a death camp, an appalling thing, and a true story. I mean, there was an actual escape from this concentration camp called in Poland called Sobibor. A successful escape. I mean, hundreds died, obviously, trying to escape, but also about 60 or 70 got out, maybe even more. It was quite a thrilling project to be involved with, but also terribly heartbreaking because you had to kind of go there, emotionally.
Mm. Was that in 1987? Am I reading
That's a
that
very
right?
that's a very good question, mate. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be about right. Yeah, I reckon that would be about right.
Yeah. I'm on IMDb. That's what it says. But wow, that's
Yeah, that'll be it. And Emil, my pal, was married to an Australian girl, and it was time. They've been in Britain for a long time, and they kind of decided they came into some money over there and decided to up sticks and go and live in Australia, and they absolutely love it.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. So I guess we'll start from the start. How did you get into acting, mate? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or
No, no, I wanted to be a jockey, but
a
I
jockey?
kind of
Wow,
yeah,
really? Yeah.
yeah. But I was everything around about late. The whole of my school life really was a struggle, and my mum. I used to do the occasional silly play or something like that at school just to get out of class. Really, no more than that. But my mum had a link with. She used to run a youth club, and the local youth theatre used to come sometimes to her youth club, and she decided that I could do it, that I could be an actor, and because she was quite, I think she was quite worried because I was going nowhere fast. Really, I was getting into trouble and stuff, and so she forced me to join the youth theatre. What she did was I had tickets to a football game on the Saturday, and she took them. And she said, if you don't go to the youth theatre rehearsals tonight, then you don't go to the football tomorrow. So I had to go, and then I went and I liked it, and then before you knew it, I really liked it.
Mm.
I could. It was something. It was the first thing in my life. My first thing in my life, I was only like 16. First time in my life, I felt like I could actually do something,
Yeah.
and I
Wow.
felt I felt at home there more than I felt at home anywhere, even in my own home. Really, I felt really at home in this local youth theatre, and it transformed my life. I then was dedicated to it. It was the people more than anything else. You know, theatre people really are glorious. They really are a different. There's something about them. It's like the circus. It's like, not that I've been to the circus or anything, but it's like that feeling. You know, there's a great camaraderie. And I've never shook that really. It's been there ever since. So it was my mum. My mum kind of forced me to become an actor. And to this day, my mum's gone now, and I'm kind of like, she's seen me like do, you know, like dozens and dozens of shows, and I don't think I ever got round to actually saying, "Mum, thanks for that."
Wow.
I mean, she knew that I was, you know, terrible to thank, but I never actually looked her in the eye and say thank you, because I was going nowhere fast, and you've actually given me an incredible life.
Wow.
Some of it has been a struggle, though, you know, because when you're self-employed, you know, your contracts always end. You know, I mean,
it's like going for a job again and again and again, isn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, and being rejected again and again and again. You're always being rejected. I mean, I'm going to the theatre tonight to see an old pal from RADA called Ralph Fiennes. Now he's right up there. Obviously, everybody's heard of Ralph Fiennes. So you know, he's a highly successful film star. So I will be reminded that. I don't know what I'll be reminded. I'm loath to go, because you look at yourself and go, well, you're right up there, and I feel right down here. When you know what I mean, when you meet a film star like that,
when they're on another level, is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah,
yeah.
Like so high.
Yeah,
so many levels. You know what I mean?
But they're 1 in a million, aren't they? I mean, that's.
You're right. Yeah, they are. You're right. 1 in a million.
And I feel like there is also a bit of luck. There's definitely a bit of luck involved. I mean,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They're skillful, but there's also, you know, with the casting directors and things like that. There's also, you know, what are they going to like? What is the director going to like? So sometimes it just all comes to play, doesn't it? Are you So you did a lot of theatre work, or still do, or TV, or where's your specialty been over the years? Has it been one?
I suppose if you looked at my CV, I suppose the majority of jobs would be theatre, yeah. But theatre slowly but surely is starting to after the pandemic. It's only now beginning to. I've had one theatre audition, which was done on here, which was done on camera. We did it, which was weird for a theatre job. Yeah. But mostly going up. So theatre really is just starting to come back, and I'm kind of like the thought of doing theatre, because it's always hard work. The thought of going back doesn't excite me, you know.
Really?
I think maybe I'm done. You know, I'm 60 next birthday, and I think.
Is it just too much on the body? Too much?
Yeah. It's because I mean I don't do small parts anymore. No. And that's a long time ago. I only do big. And if you do a big part in the theatre, you unless it's West End or the RSC or the National, the money's not great. There really isn't. And like, for instance, I was offered a job a couple of months ago. It was a 2-hander, not much money. I would say about 100 pages of script. So that's like probably somewhere like 1 hour 45, 2 hours with just 2 of you talking. It's a big learn. And it's also an emotional, it's a big commitment to do theatre, to do a big parts in the theatre. And unless you're being paid for it, I kind of go, being paid well for it, I kind of think, I'm not going there again.
Yeah, I'd rather understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
I'm tired, and then things like, like another voiceover has come through. And then I got shortlisted for another one, and then they did the Elden Ring, and I'm kind of like, this is so much easier and quicker money, and it's not that I have much choice, because I mean, competition right now is rife. There are a lot of actors out there, So the competition is right up there. So I mean, you're
But
competing with a lot of really good actors.
I need to cut you off. I don't think anyone
Sorry.
else could do the voice you did for Rykard. I've never heard anything like it. I was shocked.
Really?
I couldn't believe that came out of a human.
Oh, really? Well, maybe they twiddled some knobs. These people, they can make
maybe I don't know. Maybe. Do you remember how the voice came about? Do you remember what you did in the booth?
I wish I could remember his name, but I think his name was Dan. Also, actually,
yeah,
but
it is.
He was a brilliant director, really, really good, and really kind of pointed me in it. And he said things like, "It doesn't really go as low as you like, go elongate as much as you like, play with as much as you like, because you can hear yourself back like you're hearing yourself back now. You're kind of like, you really can play. Like if I was to do it now, I wouldn't, I could hear myself, but it wouldn't be in the same as like when you really do hear yourself. So you can start." And when he said, he'd say things like, say if you say the word look, that you could make that as long, you could put as many O's in there as you like. So just play with it, do as much as, and then he'd pick and choose. He'd say, "That was good. I really like what you did there. Push that more. You could go lower there if you like." So he kind of guided me, really. He kind of say, "Do what you want," and then picked up what he liked and then guided me through. I mean, he's a very good director. He's a really good director.
If I play it for you now, you tell me if you remember it, right? I'm going to see if you can hear it first.
Okay.
Very well.
Oh, really good.
Coming.
Yeah, I'm not really picking it up.
Hold on. Here we go.
Join myself and King as remedy.
Can
We will devour the very core.
Are you hearing that?
Yeah.
That's
Kind of, yeah.
That's unbelievable. How do you do that? You're like getting so low and gravelly and just, you must have gone all out for that one. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. I had to go pretty low. I do remember going pretty low, and then I had to kind of like not speak for the rest of the day. But said, "Are you all right, mate? You sound a little bit. You've got a bit of a chest infection." And I go, no, darling. I've been doing a voiceover for Crazy Snake Man.
I want to ask you to do a little bit now, but I don't want to hurt your voice.
I can't remember. I really can't. Kind of like, give me a line. I really
give you a line.
You made it like 2 years ago.
I know. I'll have to give you a line. We'll do it at the end, so I don't kill you now.
It was pre-pandemic, I think, wasn't it? It must have been.
Well, it's different because I've spoken to a few of the actors now, and some have said they did it as late as last year, and then
really?
Yeah, and then there's others like you that did it during the pandemic. So it's, I guess, because there's so many characters, it's a bit all over the shop.
There's loads of characters, is there?
Oh, yeah, there's 50 plus. Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I'll give you another fact about the game that you might not know. 12 million people have bought the game across the world.
Wow.
That is one of the biggest new games ever.
Right.
And it's the highest selling game of this year.
Great.
And there's a lot of people that have seen your voice and heard your voice. So how does that make you feel, hearing that now?
Well, yeah, that's exciting. That's it. That's a glorious thing. That really is nice, because I mean, you never know with these things, I mean,
no.
From seeing the visuals, you did, and knowing a little bit about the writer, and I kind of I did think that you know, the production values were right up there. So I was kind of like thinking they wouldn't be going this far if it wasn't, you know, it looked like a big investment is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. With George R. R. Martin involved as well. I'm sure you learned that early on.
Yeah.
But man, and so do you remember if Miyazaki came in? Do you remember a Japanese man coming in and there being a translator for your work?
There was about 4 Japanese people there. I'm not sure whether he was one of them. I hope he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
Because they were kind of, they were very gentle. I mean, I've worked in Japan before, so I kind of know the Japanese a little bit. And they're kind of like, I like the fact that they're kind of, you know, they're quite happy to, it's probably a bit of a generalization, but they're kind of, you know, they're on their heels a little bit, kind of, very gentle, kind of like, there was no kind of, you know, whenever that they wanted something, they would do it through the director. So I never really heard them. It was all, they were always very well. They never pushed their agenda at all. They were very respectful of what Dan was doing with me in the first place, and they let that happen, you know.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of like, and then occasionally it'd all go quiet, and I realized that they were having a little conflab in the whatever you call it, where they twist the knobs.
Yeah.
In the book. And I kind of like, so yeah, they were very, and they kept themselves. I don't think they came out and shook. I don't think I'd met them. Yeah, I did. I think we just we didn't shake hands and stuff. I did a kind of thing like that, you know, here I am.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, it would have been only one session for you?
I think that, I'm not sure whether there was 1 or 2.
Okay. There might have been
so
2.
long.
Yeah. There might have been
But there
2.
was also, they did the kind of thing of, while you're here, could you also give us a few what we'd like you to die as soldiers for this, could you that sword is going through your gut there, can you give us that kind of reaction to that, and this one's going through the center of your head, could you give us a sound for that, this one is taking off your leg. So I spent half an hour doing, this is what killed me more than anything else, actually, sound-wise, voice-wise.
The efforts.
Was trying to do as many death cries as possible for them. Because obviously there's a lot of deaths, isn't there? There's an awful lot of people being...
Is that the first time you've been asked to do anything like that?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think it was. It's because...
I'm sure you've died in the theatre before, but... Not to that extent.
Yeah. If you did it in the theatre, you really would have to find a way of doing it, because if you're doing 8 shows a week, voice-wise, you really have got to... Because look, this is another thing about doing things like this, you know, doing TV and doing video games, is that you just do it a few times and then you can go and recover. Whereas in the theatre, you know what I mean? There's a chance
the next day, Shit.
And you're like, I fucked my voice.
That's,
you know what I mean? And
you can't do that, can you? You've got to really...
You can't do that. You cancel shows. You can't. I mean, when I was doing the line 2 years in London, and that was, you know, every night I was like, you know, you just got to learn to lean on the mic and make sure that, because I mean, you know, it's 2,500 people out there. They've got to, and it's kind of like sometimes you push too hard and you're like, you know, lean on the mic, make sure that, because tomorrow you've got another show. Sometimes tomorrow you've got 2 shows.
I always hear...
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't miss that at all.
No, and another thing I've heard that's from people that have done a lot of theatre work is when reviewers come into town or for that show, and a lot of them say the pressure gets to them, or it's just they want it to be over and done with, that show. Did you ever feel like that? Yeah.
I mean, it's highly pressurized.
Because they're pretty critical, I feel like.
Yeah, they can be horrible.
Yeah.
They can be horrible, yeah. I was playing comedy once, and there's this geezer, Nicholas de Jong. It was during the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I played a part of Trinculo, who's supposed to be funny. And he'd also bad-mouthed this actor who was supposed to be dangerous. And he said he wasn't dangerous at all. And he said, Simon Gregor is about as funny as Damien is dangerous. And it was like, there's no real need, is there, to kind of like. I thought I was very funny, but there we are. Yeah, they can be terribly cutting. Yeah, terribly cutting, and the pressure.
You get it? Did you build a wall eventually from that stuff? Or
Yeah, you don't read it. You just kind of
Yeah.
like you try and treat it as much as any other night, because in fact, you know, fuck them. Sorry to swear, but you know,
No, go ahead.
you kind of like, because it's kind of like it's not for them, but I mean it is in the way, because I mean they can. It's not as in New York where they can, you know, if the critics don't like you, you can be off the night. You do one show and you can be off. The next night you could be off. That doesn't happen in London.
Nah. Oh well, going from one to another spectrum. Let me read some positive comments about your voice from this game from the community. All right, because you probably haven't seen these, so I'll read out a few of them to me. So I asked people who your favorite character was.
Yeah.
Right? And has to be Rykard. That Snake Man is insane. Here's another one. Truly stunning voice and boss. This voice is absolutely epic. It goes on and on. This dude's voice is absolutely perfect. It's exactly how I imagine half snake, half man would sound.
Great.
What else have we got here? Unbelievable voice. Downright horrendous looking creature. Well, it is a horrendous looking creature, but the voice is good. There you go. So it just keeps going on and on, mate. So people loved it. So I thought I'd just share that with you.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's made my day. Very good. I should get the game. The thing is that I'll never get to where, because I'm not a gamer. It would, you know, I'd be dead within like 2 seconds, wouldn't I?
You probably struggle. You probably struggle because this is notorious for being a harder game as well. So there's that as well. But so do you remember how this audition came about? Was it just any normal audition? Nothing different about it at all?
Well, kind of the only that I actually went in for it, because now you do them at home. Whereas, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm sure they do bring people in, but it was so that helps a great deal, because
you prefer going in.
Kind of for something like Rykard, yeah, because you can play around with the voice, because you've got all the equipment, so you can hear yourself back and stuff. So it helps a great deal when you're doing a voice which is not your own. Do you know? Well, it is, but you're kind of like you're having to find it from somewhere. So this thing of, you know, actually being able to hear yourself, like you can hear yourself on the headphones there. We got brilliant headphones with all that amazing kit that they've got. Whereas if I'm doing one at home, do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it's not.
So that really helped you to really hone in on the voice. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And again, you know, Dan directed me, so I mean, he liked what I was doing, so he was like, so he'd already started to work on me. Do you know what I mean? He thought he's probably this lad's probably going to get it, so he already started to work on me. You know, I think that's what happened. It's so long ago. It's like,
I know. I'm trying to extract it from you. I know it was a long time ago.
But I think that's how it came about. I mean, there's a good chance, like everyone I've done for the last 2 years, every audition I've done for the last, since the pandemic, has been done at home. I mean, I am lucky, actually. There's a chap that lives upstairs who is a cameraman, and whenever he's available, he's dead into it, and he'll give me his time.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, that is good.
That's good. Pretty handy. Shit. Yeah. Shout out to him, eh? What a legend.
Shout out to
What a legend.
Absolutely.
So do you think you'll do more video games after this? Have you got the itch for more voice acting work?
Yeah, if I'm asked, I'll definitely do it. Yeah, I'll definitely be up for it, because it's done so quickly, you know. And if you keep doing them, it can be lucrative. And you know, you've done them in a few hours, you know. You reel them off, and so yeah. I mean, there's one in the offing. I can't remember what it's called actually. Something for Superfuse, and there's another one that I'm shortlisted for. So yeah.
So you've got one coming, but it's not out yet. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm doing one for a company called Superfuse, a character called the Corruptor, who is kind of he's a person, but he's wicked. The voice is low, he's nasty, he wants to take over the world. He's kind of like he's not half man, half snake, but he's kind of he's a
bastard.
He's a bad bastard, yeah. So that's fun to do. So that should be happening in April. He's called the Corruptor. I can't remember what the name of the game. Called the Corruptor, yeah. Which is a great name for a character, isn't it? The Corruptor.
I like
and
that.
He kind of like he's down there like the snake. He's kind of growling away at these people and kind of like, I will do this to you and that to you and this to you and that to you. Horrible, absolutely horrible.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's amazing. You should we need to get you a happier character next, eh? We need you to do a more joyful character. That's got to be on the cards next, eh?
Yeah. So far they don't. It hasn't happened, and that's not the way it's going by the look of things. And I'm quite happy about it.
No.
I mean, you always get typecast. And maybe this is what I am, a nutty little green. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I'm like 5 foot nothing. Do you know what I mean? And like 8 stone. And I've got this voice that can go, really, really low. And people look at me like, Christ, you're a dwarf. You're tiny. You're absolutely tiny. Where does this voice come from? And I don't know. I used to smoke Marlboro Reds for like 30 years. Maybe that's it. I don't anymore.
Yeah, maybe. That's amazing, mate. So what would you say your favorite part of acting is these days now?
Oh, a character that I've played?
Not even that. What excites you about it now? Like, what would be a really exciting role for you now if you could pick anything? What would really get you out of bed and go, this is amazing?
I would say, I mean, it would definitely be film, and it would be shot in New York.
Yeah.
It would be shot in New York by a young female director who knew the streets of New York, and it would be modern, and I would be playing some kind of low-life sidekick to the big nutty villain.
Oh, this sounds fantastic. This sounds fantastic.
Sounds good.
This sounds great.
I mean, she doesn't have to be female, but you know what I mean? At the moment,
yeah, right.
But there's something at the moment going on where, I mean, I'm black maybe, because it's kind of like this, the world is changing, and virtually every time you do a job, what you're working for is a white, middle-aged man.
Yeah.
That's virtually every time you do a job. That's or a little bit older maybe than middle-aged.
It's got to change, doesn't it?
Yeah. The world's changing in the, they're kind of like now, like on the TV, you hear black voices all the time. You see black people doing in commercials. You see parts being written for black people. Now, the last few years, because of Black Lives Matter and stuff, because of all the appallingness that the whole world is coming to grips with, what's been happening for the last 500 years, is like, at least in my everyday life, I'm beginning to notice that white people are beginning to understand that we've really fucked up. So yeah, I'd like to work with more black people and more females. There you go.
Oh, great answer.
Not your white middle classes. I mean, there's plenty of them, and there's plenty of directors that I've worked with who are just great, and I'd love to work.
Yeah.
And I'd love to work with again.
Yeah.
But if I'm being specific, I would like to work with youth and with people who are new to it,
That's great, man. That's a great job. Do you remember your first acting gig at all? And do you remember how? Yeah, and do you remember how like how if you were any good in that first gig? Like
I was
how would you rate yourself now?
better. Bloody hell. I was my first professional job was playing a pantomime cat
Okay,
in,
wow.
in Dick Whittington and his cat at Theatre Clwyd in North Wales. My first, every character had to introduce themselves at the beginning of the show, and so they get things like I am. Like, for instance, there was I don't know why I always remember this. I'm Fairy Belle who enters right and makes it all right on the night, and then all the cast would go, "It's very nice to meet you. Who, may we ask, are you?" And then you go to the next person, and then everybody had introduced themselves.
Right.
And it came to Tommy the cat, me, and then so my first lines on the stage were meow 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 meow. And
Oh
then they
wow.
went, "It's very nice to meet you. Who, may we ask, are you?" So that was it.
That's
So it
your
was the
first
cat.
lines ever as a professional actor. That's That's hilarious. That's
Meow
great.
meow 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 meow. Meow. And
Wow.
and because most of the, especially during the school time, most of them were kids, and they absolutely loved Tommy the cat. All the kids loved. They wanted Tommy more than anything. Even before he arrived on stage, all they wanted was the cat. So every time when the kids were in, I went meow 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 meow. They all screamed at me, "Yeah, Tommy!" So it was quite good fun.
Wow. Man, you
Yeah.
got some crazy stories that you would never pick. You would never pick. So in terms of, so you've said that you would love to do films, your number one, right? But in terms of consuming media, TV, books, film, theater, what's your favorite to consume?
Oh, I read quite a lot. I'm reading at the moment. This is a little shout out for Hilary Mantel.
Ah, nice.
Do you know? Did you watch Wolf Hall with Mark Rylance?
Did I watch Wolf? I don't think I did. No. Do you
Very
recommend it?
Yeah, yeah. And the books are brilliant. The Hilary Mantel. I mean, she's a brilliant writer anyway. But Hilary Mantel.
I love Mark Rylance. No, I haven't seen Wolf Hall.
So so what was your question? Reading.
Reading,
yeah.
TV, movie, theater. What do you prefer?
What I've been watching? I've been watching an awful lot of stuff on my iPad actually. Have you come across Succession?
Oh,
a show called
great show. Yeah.
I thought I'm really enjoying that. Also, I've just tuned into something called Euphoria. Have you come across that?
Mm-hmm. That's a very quirky brilliant show, isn't it? Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Right now, I saw.
You've been on the HBO shows.
Yeah, I have, mate. I have. I've gone back to Sopranos actually. I've started because
nice.
I've just got Sky Go, so I've just started kind of going back and kind of doing things. You know, I'm ready to go back to doing 6 Feet Under and Sopranos and The Wire.
Oh, what a show that is!
All those to really look, because I hadn't. Sopranos was like quite a long time ago now, right? So I kind of like that's ready for a revisit. So I'm like halfway through the first season of that. I'm loving that, and just thinking how James Gandolfini is so missed. Just absolutely brilliant performance from Gandolfini, and the fact that he died at like 55 or something, which just breaks my heart, really.
Yeah,
so brilliant, so brilliant in that.
100%. So
yeah,
what about something like Game of Thrones? Not into it? Not into fantasy?
I am, but the thing is with Game of Thrones is that I've been up for it twice, different parts twice, and sometimes a little bit like.
I understand, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I kind of, and also what's the new one, which is like the prequel to it,
House of Dragon or something.
Yeah, something like that. I went up for something in that as well. A great part that just spoke in this
Oh
drag.
man, this is pissing me
And
off.
also, I didn't get that, so I kind of like, do you know when you get a little bit.
Oh, I lost you for a second there. There we are. Yep.
I get a little bit kind of like personal, really, and go, oh, I don't particularly want to see the part that I didn't get. Do you get?
I understand. Man, you mean you're getting close though. I mean, you've got a few auditions now. It's a
Yeah,
it's a matter of
yeah,
time. I think they're doing a few Game of Thrones shows, so I reckon you're
okay.
close. I think
Yeah,
you're
I
close.
reckon too.
What
Good.
sort of roles are they? Are you allowed to say or?
One role I went up for was a dragon trainer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Who talked to I suppose what would you call it, a dragon whisperer, maybe.
Yeah, right.
He was. But that was really tricky. I mean, I had to put idiot boards all around my lounge because he spoke in dragon. He spoke in. It was. So there's no way you could learn it in the time that I had. So you just put idiot boards all over my lounge, you know.
Yeah, right. Wow. Do you get? Can I ask? Do you get nervous for maybe bigger auditions like that, or are they all the same now for you?
What's good about them is that the vast majority, or nearly all, or even all, are done at home. So
You don't feel it as much. Yeah.
that's right. You're not meeting anybody. You can do it. You can do it again. If there's a speech that you can't learn quick enough, you know, because if it's like it's an overnight thing or something, you can put idiot boards up so you can read it. So you're not always thinking about the lines. You can actually be in the moment a little bit because you're not actually thinking about. Because quite often with screen tests where you go in to meet people for it, you're forever thinking about what you're saying next. So you end up just it becomes like a thing on learning your lines as opposed to playing the part. Whereas when you're reading it at home, you're kind of able to play the part a little bit more rather than being anxious about oh God, what do I say next? You know, it's a little bit easier, I find.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, it's a little bit easier at home. I would say, in fact, a lot easier. But the only thing is that, you know, they don't meet you. Sometimes it's nice to meet you. That it's nice for them to realize that, you know, you're a good geezer or whatever, and get to know your personality. But they don't see much of that, obviously, because it's done on camera, etc.
Hey, what was Pennyworth like? What was that set like?
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was only on it for a day.
Was that in the UK or was that in America?
Yeah, up at the whatchamacallit studios. Were they the Disney studios? The reason
the Warner Brothers studio, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think I've got much battery left down.
That's all right.
I've got about 8% left. So if it goes black and it doesn't come back again,
that's all good. We'll wrap it up soon, mate. No, that's all good. Continue on. What was the set like? Do you remember?
Well, it was kind of like quite unexciting, really, because it was an interior of where Pennyworth's mum's place. So it was kind of like it was just a 2 up, 2 down kind of thing. Terrace.
Okay.
The interior of a terraced house, because I was playing the neighbor, who was kind of like trying to rip her off some kind of sideboard that you wanted to sell. So it was kind of like, it was, yeah, pretty unexciting, but it was nice to kind of like, because it was right in the middle of the pandemic. So it was actually nice to actually do a bit of acting, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because nothing had been done for like a year. So it was like, it was nice to actually
were you going a little bit crazy there, or were you all right?
I'm okay. I'm all right with that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like lots of things to watch, lots of books to read. I've got a nice garden, so I kind of
enjoyed the rest a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of I quite like I'm quite good at the isolation bit as well. I kind of, you know, even when I had the COVID, I kind of like, got 10 days in which I can just read and watch telly and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, it sounds like my dad's the same. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a little bit of kind of, I quite like it.
Yeah, no, my dad's exactly the same. So I might ask you here a couple more questions on Elden Ring because a lot of fans want to know.
Yeah.
Do you remember the reaction when you saw the art of Rykard, like when you saw what he looked like? Do you remember that first time?
I kind of thought, bring it on, bring it on. I've got to do the voice for that. Yeah, I'll bring that on. Let's have a go at that. And then obviously something good happened for it to happen. But yeah, obviously you see an image like that with the sword coming out, all that bit, all that. And I'm like, what? This is insane. Yeah. Oh,
so you got to see all that. Yeah, wow. That would have helped with the performance. Eh?
Yeah. Get to see it all.
Is there anything you want to say to those fans out there quickly?
No, not really. Just I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you're loving that because it was great fun to do. And I wish I was a gamer. I wish I could get into it like you lot do, really. It's because it ain't gonna happen. We had to go.
At least you're honest.
The Liquid Violet that did the Korea, they had a little party to launch it, and they had a room in which you could go and have a go. And of course, I spent 30 seconds on it, just walking against a wall. Really, that's all I did. And then somebody said, "Well, just go left or right." And I said, "I don't know how to do that on the thing. It's easy on the thing." And I was like, that's you know, I really haven't got a clue. I've never done a game in my life.
But you can tell people you've played Elden Ring technically.
Yeah. I can say I'm a gamer.
I don't know about that. But all right, is there anything we can hear from Rykard, or is the voice just too hard? Is there anything you can give us, mate?
I'm not promising anything, but just give me something to say because I can't remember what he says.
Let me bring up a line for you. Join the Serpent King as family. Together we will devour the very gods.
Together we will devour the very gods.
So you've got that.
Oh.
Join the family.
So you've got that, but then the boy in the booth will do all sorts of funny things as well with that, you see, and make it even more kind of.
I don't think they manipulated your voice. That was it.
Oh, is that it?
That was it. I don't think they touched it up, which makes it even crazier. Wow.
Yeah. I will devour. I love it. It's a great word, isn't it? Devour. So, yeah, great fun.
I hope your neighbours can't hear this. They're going to think you're crazy, aren't they?
Yeah. They've heard it all before.
Yeah, I know, right?
They think I'm a dog. They think they live next door to a dog.
That's amazing. No, I've really enjoyed this chat, mate. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time, mate.
I hope there's another time that we can do it.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Great to connect. Dan. And anything else you want to say? Any upcoming projects you want to plug, or just all good?
Nothing other than game on and enjoy that amazing game. Enjoy that nutty snake and kill it. Kill the thing.
Okay.
Good luck with killing it.
Beautiful. Thank you, mate. Have a great night.
Cheers, dude.
Take care, brother.
Dude.